I'm here at Okinawa Legendary Experience. Join us as we travel Okinawa during the typhoon season.
We have a 4-day itinerary with us, and if you'd like to check it out, let's go.
The typhoon season in Okinawa usually spans from June to November. We all know this is a long stretch, but can you really travel to Okinawa during the typhoon season? We did start our journey with Cape Zanpa, but if you love some peace and tranquility, it is an absolute luxury to book your accommodations at one of these beachside resorts. The scenery of Cape Zanpa is absolutely breathtaking. I would love to point out that if you're considering picking up an accommodation at one of the seaside resorts, allocate a few days of stay at Naha City because transportation from the resorts can be quite difficult. So definitely book a drive for your days during your travel in Okinawa, especially for areas outside Naha City, because the most convenient mode of transport, the U-Rail, only travels from Naha Airport to areas within Naha City. Also, a useful tip for traveling by bus is to grab an Okika stored value card you can purchase from any station machine. This way, you don't have to worry about not having the exact fare when you're light. And so what is better than to start the day off with some history at Okinawa World? It's a ticketed entry at 2,000 yen per adult, and it gives access to 3 different attractions: Limestone Cave, also called the Gyokusendo, the Ryukyu Castle Town, and the Snake Museum Park. Really wet, but once you're inside, you'll be instantly greeted by one of the best sights in the world. Fortunately, the man-made paths in the caves make for a really great walking experience. Well, the walk has been really wet and long, so I can't be happier to see this sign, especially for someone like me who doesn't really exercise. The waters in the cave is as clear as skies. If you think it's just a treat to the eyes, wait till you get to taste it. Not gonna lie, this tastes like rocks and sand. Of course, there are many other facilities that were fascinating, and that includes the orchard that houses tropical plants, and of course the chance to eat it. Finally, a taste of Okinawa pineapples. We got a snack pack. The taste is pretty light and has a tinge of sourness.
Man, this is really giving me the Demon Slayer vibes.
I love history, and it was really great to experience some olden Japanese vibes with the buildings they have recreated, made especially interesting with the fusion of Chinese architectural styles. It's food time! Tabeyoga! We went ahead to get immersed in the Okinawan culture by visiting one of the neighborhood's Okinawa soba restaurants. Shikina soba. Definitely try it. Flat and thick soba noodles, something different from the usual buckwheat soba.
Today we will be going to Kokusai because we really want to know what Okinawa food tastes like.
Taking the rail is really convenient. Grab an Okika from the machines or use a Suica or Passmo, or be like me, grab a conventional ticket by selecting your fares from the table or berth. For dinner, Kokusai Dori, we selected Yatai Mura because the one recommended by my Japanese teacher was fully booked, so we decided to check it out the next day. Yatai Mura, bustling with people. Something I needed was to sit among many people chanting lively in Japanese because I just want to sit around to soak up the atmosphere, and we're really craving for Okinawan food. We chose Kinpachi. Just take a seat and you'll be greeted with an English menu. Orion beer. I feel it tastes really close to other Japanese beers. just slightly fruitier. Sea grapes. Some would call it caviar, but it's really a plant. Well, the taste is quite close to tobacco in my opinion. Tofu with grated yam and leeks. You really got to try this. The sauce is actually heavily textured and flavorful. Rafte. This is a pork stew with soy sauce and brown sugar. Honestly, better than kurobuta. I feel it's kind of chewy and leaves an everlasting taste in your mouth. So, the night lights were amazing and the day scene was equally bustling. Rented carts from Street Cart Okinawa. What an amazing but stressful experience zipping through the streets in carts. While the stressful part is when large vehicles travel really close behind us. In Street Cart Okinawa, you really get to choose a costume. I find this the highlight of the trip. There's a nice cozy waiting area and not long after you'll be ushered to very well maintained carts. I had to travel up to 50 or 60 kilometers per hour.
Man, I think this is crazy because we're gonna run with 2 people only and everything seems so peaceful here.
Our tour brings us to Sanaga Island. We actually chose the 2-hour package. Sanaga Island, one of the best places for a date and seeing places that you wish do not bring you back to your motherland. The free foot bath, honestly, a very nice gesture, but it looks too disgusting because of the huge amount of tourists. But going up to Sas brings you to one of the nicest dining spots. Don't forget to stop by the famous pancake shop, Shawase no Pancake. Unfortunately, looking at the situation, I don't think I'll get a chance to get inside. So it's time to return our rice, and the days going forward will become very harsh. And you might ask, what about snorkeling? Can you snorkel in the rain? Fortunately, there are snorkeling tours for people who travel alone. I went with reefers, but do inquire because English-speaking staff works on a part-time basis. But if you do not care, I think using Google Translate helps too. So while I did not see the sun again for the rest of my trip, I saw Okinawa Island from my boat. The vastness of the Black Sea and the overcasted sky struck a fear in me of the unknown. But I really wanted to jump in so much. Jumping into the sea, I was greeted by a clear view of the ocean. By the way, those people from another group, they were diving. I actually feel like I was part of the naval diving unit, except I remembered I don't exercise much. Going with reefers is really a good choice because I was glad our guide brought us to view some sea creatures. So, bye starfish. I doubt we'll ever meet again. The ocean snorkeling was really great, but the next snorkel I'd love to try would be the blue cave snorkeling. I'll put that agenda down on my next trip to Okinawa. And I'm heading over to Makishi Market right now because I heard they have a lot of fishes to offer and I'm craving for sushi. The feast on the eye, the fishes, quickly turned into a feast to the mouth when we visited the Makishi Market. Accessible from Kokusai-dori, my relationship with the fishes quickly turned from being strangers in the sea to having their life flash across my eyes into food. In Makishi Market, you really get to choose from a lot of fish stalls. I went with this because they had a large selection. The fish artist goes quickly into the kitchen on the second floor. Oh wait, you can actually order food that aren't seafood related from the kitchen too. Time to dig in. Chinese style vermicelli. Nicely seasoned and refreshing. The highlight of this meal was really the parrotfish. Well, we did it half sashimi and half steamed. As sashimi, it has a hard texture, but upon steaming with green onions, it's really refreshing and has a slight crunch. The sea urchins here was out of the world, sweet and creamy. For the rest of food, it was a bang for the buck for one of the freshest seafood I've ever eaten. Blue seal ice cream, the face of Okinawa ice cream. I got a blue wave flavor, creamy but light. Actually, I love my ice cream creamier, but this has a really refreshing taste of soda and milk. I'll get it again. This is probably unrelated to Okinawa's culture, but I really love to allocate one day at a Japanese mall to complete my shopping. Naha main place, probably the largest mall in Naha with a cinema. One of my close viewers, Jim, asked me to ace the crane machine. So let's go with Kaiju 08. Of course, it didn't go well, but I got Mina Ashiro because the staff at the place was so kind. In fact, throughout my trip, the Okinawan people were extremely kind. Just strike a conversation with them with basic Japanese and they'll reply. Dinner was at Kozakura, a place recommended by my Japanese language teacher. Well, if you like to dine here, be sure to get a hotel to help you with phone reservation. They serve one of the best Okinawan food in a rustic cozy decor. Mozuku is a seaweed found in Okinawa. It really tastes sweet and it feels like glass noodles. Chika, salted pork belly. I found this to be my favorite, easy on the stomach, somewhat like ham. This might sound crazy for most of you, but it's also one of my top favorites. Gyumotsu, which largely refers to eating the intestinal parts of the cow, which also provides a lot of collagen and the taste is extremely soft and tender. I know at this point, there's a little obsession about Okinawa food, but the next one is amazing. Miso pea. Peanuts in miso paste, a really sweet treat and food that can use over a conversation. The Somen champuru and the okonomiyaki are really nice carbohydrates addition to the meal. Thoughtfully made, but the Goya champuru is something to behold. Goya, also known as bitter gourd, a superfood known for its antioxidant properties. Damn, I'm not very good with bitter food, but Jeff, it's a really once in a lifetime experience. Actually, look at the rain. It hasn't stopped for more than a day. Apparently, this burger was used to spread the burger culture in Okinawa. Look at the old and rustic vibes. I'm really loving it. Although I hate Goya, I'll have the Nuyaru burger. And that is Goya egg with spam burger. And on my trick, I ordered onion rings, but I didn't read carefully. It was Goya rings. Save me. It's a taste preference and I don't like fried bitter vegetables. But the saving grace was the burger was really refreshing and surprisingly light in taste. To the Churaumi Aquarium, perhaps one of the best aquariums in the world because they have a whale shark. And the whale shark looks so cute. I love animals and one of the best things about Churaumi Aquarium is to spend my lazy afternoon watching aquatic behavior. Also, do brace yourself for the huge crowd, but because there is a crowd, it really means this aquarium is really good. So why get wet in the ocean and hunt for fishes when they are all here? Other than the conversations around me, it feels like I'm in the ocean. and shopping in the aquarium was more than heavenly. It's crazy to see so many people buy things, so prepare your cash. I couldn't help spending some too. If you're my usual viewer, I have a last segment. But for those who watched till here, thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please introduce it to your friends and please give us a like. It will help the channel a lot. If not, for my usual viewers, we're gonna hunt anime figures. There's an anime that called Saidori, but we'll be going to Manga Soko Naha, which is the Honten. Honestly, with Ami prices going low after figure release, it's really not advisable to buy figures from Japan unless shipping for you is really high. But Manga Soko sells everything secondhand, and I'm really surprised to see a bustling crowd with crane machines. We're going to tour the shop, but I'm really trying not to play the crane machine again. Price figures and Kuji top prices in the shop are really affordable. I guess we can buy some of this, but scale figures on the other hand, mostly secondhand, capitalizes on the fact that you can't buy the figures anymore. But if you're into other toys like me, there's a Gundam section, a vehicle section, and a retro game section. I love airsoft and guitars, but the clothes section looks a little unappealing. But seeing the huge amount of people trying to get Goku and Godzilla, I can't help but spend money again. So I'm on the Kimi Zero figure machine. Well, please watch to the end to see how I built this. And thank you for watching to the end. I'm a frequent traveler to Japan, a figure unboxer and a certified weeb. Please subscribe to my channel if you love this type of content, and I'll see you next week for another figure unboxing. Makoto ni arigatou gozaimashita. Buy more figures. See you.